Okay. Hi. Welcome back if you're new here. Well, wait, no. Welcome back if you're not new here. But welcome if you are new here. Um, I have been gone for a while. Um, I just felt like I didn't really have. I've kind of said some things that I needed to say. And currently I'm on a little vacation trip. So, and it's gonna be over. No! I'm really not happy with that, but yeah. But as you can see, I'm a little dolled up. I haven't worn makeup in a while, so I know this part's a little messy, but who cares? um, but I just wanted to come on here, check in to see how everyone's doing. If you wanna share how you're doing. I've been reconnecting with family that some I've never met, some I haven't seen in a very long time. And, I've been as if some of you have been watching my videos, I've been struggling, just trying to figure out what to do with my life. I mean, I know what I want to do, but I just don't. I know the goals and things I want to do, but I don't know exactly how to get there. And sorry for if you hear the wind, it's really windy over here. Um, Currently, I'm in Oregon, but these past few months, ever since, moving back to my dad's and, my brother's death, and not being homeless anymore, woo! I've been trying to just figure out how should I get to my next steps, and how should I really plan accordingly to get to where I want to go. I live in California if you don't know, but I've never been a California kind of girl. But I was just thinking about just sucking it up, and just staying here or staying there since I'm not there right now, but um but yeah, I was like, I've been asking the universe, like, what should I do? Like, what's my next step? Like, I feel like something good is really coming, but I just don't know what. And it's been like a long months of just silence, of just just relax, just keep working on yourself, keep focusing on yourself. And we're humans, right? We a lot of us just kind of want to go, and I'm just like, I've been fucking sitting here, universe. I've been like, what the fuck more do you want? Like, how much more do I have to just sit here and do nothing? Like, I know some people, a lot of people feel some sort of joy or like, oh, I guess just relief not having to work if you're unemployed. But for me, like, ever since I've been unemployed, I've been so anxious and like wanting to get back to work and or wanting to start a new job. But I've just been kind of getting signs to just be patient. Like, I'm just like, okay, I'll wait. And coming here, I didn't know what to expect. If anything, I was just kind of expecting everything to be like meh, I'll have to talk to some family. And because of my family's past, it's not very pretty. And I was like, do I have to deal with certain things that I've dealt with before, and um, but it was actually not what I expected. This whole trip. Currently I'm in Manzanita, Oregon. um, so I'm by the beach, and it's so beautiful here. I love it. I'm like in a small little town, small little community. Everything's walking distance. The beach is walking distance. And I've just, as soon as I, you know, me and my family, we started kind of driving here. Like, I was looking at the scenery and I was just falling in love with the nature and the greenery, you know. And I felt like the universe showed me like this is where you can live if you want to. Not exactly in Manzanita, but you know, I say Oregon's a pretty good place for me to live in. Now, to figure out how to do that, I'm not exactly sure, but I'm definitely gonna get there. And you know, especially with the help with, you know, my partner. So, you know, I'm excited. But I've been learning to I've been really learning to have faith, especially faith and strength in the moments of just being in darkness, not having any answers, not having any real direction of what to do, where to go, how are things going to turn out. And you know, like I said in one video, we can't take darkness at face value, you know, or else it's gonna fucking crush us. You know, we have to take every challenge, every bad thing that goes on in our head, every bad thing that a person does to us or says to us, and we gotta take that and we gotta use that to our advantage. And you know, that's very hard to do. You know, especially if you're born, you know, through trauma, or you grew up with a hard life. I'm sorry. You learn to hide, you learn to freeze, you learn to just give up, or you learn to keep fighting, but you don't know when to stop fighting, and then you end up sabotaging your own plans, a good life for yourself, like truly, not a life through, you know, being scared, not a life through just for surviving, but an actual fucking life. So I feel like this message is, you know, to keep on having faith, and it doesn't need to look fucking pretty, okay? It doesn't need to look all chill and like, because whenever I thought of faith, like growing up as a Christian, I'm not a Christian right now, respectfully, but I consider myself more spiritual, but growing up as a Christian, you know, the way that I saw faith and the way that God was taught to me, it just felt like something that had to be perfect, or something that was just so up there that I couldn't really obtain unless I was in some sort of mindset, this positive light mindset. And no, you don't have to feel positive or even be like, yeah, you know, waiting, not having the answer is so fucking great. Like, come on now, be for real with yourself. Like, most of the time it's shitty, it's nerve-wracking, it's boring as shit, you know. Especially with me, I'm a person that likes to just go. Like, I like to get shit done. I like to you know, go after the things that I want. So, but part of having faith is, you know, really embracing the storm, embracing the chaos in your mind, embracing the chaos outside of you. I'm not saying embracing has to be like a whole, like, you know, freaking rain shower, you feel good in it. Like, no. You know, but challenges, the chaos in our mind, the chaos around us, it's inevitable. That's just part of life. And, you know, like I said before, we got to use this to our advantage. And as long as you keep having faith, even if you're scared, even if there's some part of you that just keeps giving up, like every 5 seconds, like that's okay. We're human. That's part of life, you know? And I feel like I'm at this point where I'm really understanding that, and I'm not. Sorry. Oh shit, sorry. Get a little too crazy. What is that? Oh, that's the trash. I'm all like. Oh god, can you stop moving it, Sapphire? Gosh damn it. What was that? But life doesn't. Like, I'm finally understanding that even though I want to be a very loving person, I want to be pure, it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, all my life, I felt like there was so much expected to me to be a good Christian girl, even though I wasn't, you know, I didn't feel like I was. I didn't feel good enough, especially living with my grandma. She was so big on, you know, the whole Christian religion and about the rapture coming, you know, the end times, and she would always tell me, like, I was the one that was going to go to hell, and she was going to go to heaven. And that traumatized me. And also just the fact that my grandmother, you know, manipulated me and was basically like a narcissist, but she was a very well hidden one. And she did all these things, like blackmailed me, gaslighted me. She did a whole smear campaign and just made me feel like I was crazy and I was a bad person. And so my views of Christianity and God were twisted, and also with some of the family members and the things that they've done and the cover-ups, it's just crazy. So, and also, you know, having expectations being put on me when I just don't function a certain way. I don't have that sort of belief. I'm not interested to take that route, you know? You know, I've always had this belief that I was a bad person and I have to be perfect, I have to please people. And I feel like this contributes to why it's been so hard for me to give myself grace whenever I'm struggling, whenever I even have whenever I'm in just a bad mood. You know, I'm telling myself, like, nope, you can't feel that. You know, you have to focus on the positive. And yes, it's important to focus on the positive, but, you know, like I said, darkness, it's just part of life. And the darkness isn't that bad if you really look past what it shows you. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, and all the pain and shit that I've went through, you know, when I've dug deeper and I've really sat in it, you know, I found so much strength in being able to take on a lot of shit. Like I can feel it, I can be in the storm, but I'm not gonna get destroyed by it. You know, I'm not gonna get destroyed by what my mind tells me. I'm not gonna get destroyed by what what family members, people, situations do say to me. You know, you find so much, you know, and I guess this is a little bit continuation of that previous video I've made, because it does have similar parts. But this is like showing I feel like the takeaway from this, you know, the universe not giving me any answers and me just being in darkness, it's showing me like, you know, all you really need is all you really need is faith and trust in yourself and determination to push forward, even if, like, and it doesn't, you don't have to believe in a God. I mean, really, it's, everyone's different, right? It's really about believing in yourself, believing that you can still have a good life despite the shit hand that you were dealt with, despite, the things that your mind tells you every single day. It's possible. So, yeah, I mean, that's all I really have to say. And I'm going tomorrow, so I'm really sad, but I feel like I'm finally starting, okay, this is actually where I want to be. This is it's gonna take some time, but I'm gonna do what it takes to get to what I want, And that's another thing that also I said in another video. Like, when you start really being in the storms in your head with people, with situations, and you really start taking away the wisdom, you start taking away, whatever you can to help you learn, to help you grow, you really learn that you do deserve peace, that you do deserve the time, the patience, you deserve the waiting, you deserve the slow burn, you deserve even you deserve just letting yourself fall apart every now and then. You deserve that too. And not feeling like I'm like doing this, sorry, but not feeling like you have to kind of hold yourself up to all the time. Sometimes, it's good to let life beat you to a pulp, not to show that, like, you can't do anything and all you can do is give up. I see it more as like, it's life, it's God, the universe, it's yourself showing you like, hey, you deserve rest, you deserve to really take a time out, self-reflection, another way to look at everything, a pause, and, that doesn't always look pretty, it doesn't always look luxurious, like taking a day off, going to the spa, watching TV. Sometimes that's screaming and crying in your car. Sometimes that's laying in your own pile of shit and wondering what you're doing with your life, wondering, because there's some people really in this life, they don't really think at all. They don't really, and there's some people who don't even give themselves the chance to think, to really reevaluate their life and see, is this what I really want? Is this really the right way for me? Is this really a good choice for me to make right now, despite how my body feels? There's so many ways to look at it. I know none of us wants to feel hurt. No one wants to feel pain. No one wants to feel like they're not good enough or stupid. But if we take that as it is, then life is gonna fucking crush us. Whether it's, we really do nothing with our lives, like nothing that's meaningful to us, nothing that can really help others, nothing that can really fill our soul, and we end up having a life that hurts others, hurts ourselves, verbally, emotionally, physically. we get lost. We we end up leading a life with hate, with anger, with vengeance, sadness, loss, like full time, or just fuck me, whatever, you know what I mean. Just a life without thinking. It's really good that we have moments. Every single moment we have a moment. Not all moments are good. Not all moments feel good, but sometimes they're necessary. Sometimes it's kind of like the little warning signals on the car telling you, like, hey, this needs to be checked up. Hey, or even on the GPS, like, hey, blink, blink, you're going the wrong way. We have that indicator not only in our body when it comes to health, but also our intuition, in life. It's just about moving with intention, moving with meaningful intention for yourself. And sometimes part of that intention is really not doing anything. Not because you really want to at times, but because you need it. So, yeah, that's kind of all I had to say. I guess that was just a little recap, but thank you for everybody who is watching my videos. And even if, like, you don't need, you can subscribe and like if you want and comment, but at the end of the day, I just want my experience, what I say, to at least help someone out, or maybe think something a little differently. That's really all that matters. I definitely want to be part in changing the world in a more so emotional and spiritual sense. But yeah, so yeah, not really looking forward to going back to California, but yeah, whatever. Okay, take care, everyone. Please comment if you want to. I would love to hear your guys' experiences, or even just random stuff. But I was thinking of putting out my Discord if anyone wants to talk, or just ask questions, or want me to do a specific video. But we'll see. Let me know if you want my Discord or not, and I'll see if I can. I don't know. I'm thinking about it, but yeah. Okay. Take care, everyone.